Hey guys, this is FluteGirl2406 here, giving you my second review for the Small Railway Engines episodes. Last time, we were reviewing Tit for Tat, which proved to be one of the best adaptations and most well-researched episodes in the ARC Productions era. But will Mike's whistle show even more improvement? Well, let's take a look at this week's episode, Mike's Whistle. So what's the story? The story is Duck has a boiled egg on his whistle and Mike is extremely bothered by this. Mike then tells Bert and Rex that if an engine can't whistle properly, they're not a proper engine. Later that day, Mike takes a passenger train down the line, but he feels ungrateful and cross about it. In fact, he becomes so cross that when he comes across a cow refusing to move, he whistles so hard and so loud that the cap shoots off like a rocket and lands in the field. Unfortunately, Mike is not allowed to travel down the line without a whistle, so his driver and passengers do the whistling for him by whistling and shouting. When Mike arrives back at Arlesburg Junction, the other engines laugh and tease him, and although Mike is embarrassed by this, he eventually laughs it off as well. This was one of the stories I remembered the most as a kid, especially the illustration of Mike whistling angrily at the cow, so I was pretty excited about this adaptation. And once I saw this, I must say, it was really well structured. I like how they introduced a small controller, although I question why he wasn't first introduced in Tit for Tat. I guess it was a way to answer the viewers' questions of who he was, which is fine by me. I also like how the writers introduced the whistle sign before the incident, whereas in the book, the sign is introduced after the incident. The ending felt like it was just thrown in there though, but it's still a good way of showing that sometimes you just have to shrug it off and laugh at your mistake. Another thing that I like is that Duck appears at the end and explains that his whistle was eventually cleaned out, since in the book that subplot was just forgotten. The only thing that bothered me was this line.
Get out of my way, you silly animal!
Why can't he just say stupid like how it was in the book? Is it really that bad to say the word stupid on kids' television? Overall, the episode's writing is a well-structured adaptation, but there are some other flaws and I will soon explain why. That is, the characters. Mike is well in character and, like in the books, he prefers pulling trucks rather than passengers. However, I feel as if he's a bit too grumpy, especially since later he's angrily whistling at everything while pulling passengers, including a farmer who's just plowing his field. I also love Duck's hilarious appearance in this, and I also like how he tries to sympathize Mike towards the end. I also like Bert and Rex's role, especially when they tease him at the end. They seem like they are the big brothers to Mike, where they tease him, but they also still try to help him from his mistakes. Although I question how they knew Mike was stopped by a cow on the line. I also like how the drivers continue to interact with the engines. It just shows a lot of connection and something that I really want to see more often. Questionable role in this is again Thomas. Now I know in my last review I said I didn't really enjoy Thomas's role, but this one seemed a tad more relevant. In Tit for Tat, it was nice seeing Thomas and the Reverend W. Awdry talking to each other, but it served no relevance to the plot. In Mike's whistle, Thomas explained to Rex what was wrong with Duck's whistle, but later on he peers and teases Mike as well. I thought this role could have easily gone Oliver since this takes place on Duck's branch line. Although I could say that for Thomas's role, he definitely has his cheeky personality, and I did laugh at some of his faces in the episode. Overall, the characters were pretty well written and definitely in character, but some were just too much in character. Now on to the animation and music. This was another episode animated by Jamfil Productions during ARC Productions' bankruptcy, and they did a really nice job of animating the Arlesdale Railway, especially the woods. I also love how they reanimated some illustrations from the book, much like how Percy and Harold was reanimated in Letters to Santa. I also like the running gag of the old man losing his fake teeth and the man catching them with his bowler hat in the background. It's incredible how well Jamfil Productions picked up the animation from where ARC Productions left off. and the music by Chris Renshaw is upbeat and cool. I love the music for when Mike loses his whistle, and it kind of reminds me of Mike O'Donnell and Junior Campbell's music. I think Chris Renshaw is so far doing a fantastic job as the new music composer for the Thomas & Friends series. So what are my final thoughts on this episode? Is it an improvement from the previous episode? Well, not necessarily. There are some minor flaws, and I will admit I don't know how this episode could have beaten an episode featuring Reverend W. Audrey. Still, the writing was well adapted and well structured. It may not be one of my favorite adapted stories, but it was definitely an enjoyable episode to watch. On that note, thank you all for watching my review. Leave a comment on your thoughts on the episode and review in the comment section below, and hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more of these reviews. Also, be sure to check out my narration of Mike's Whistle. The link to the narration will be in the description below. See you all next week with my review on Useful Railway. This is FluteGirl2406 signing out.